Is here with a look at what's going on the internet and across the worldwide press as well. Hello there, James.
Good evening, Laura.
Iranian internet users got a bit of a treat today. They were briefly allowed to go on the big social media sites,
That's
Facebook
right.
and Twitter. And
they were blocked in 2009 after the election when there was a lot of anti-government protests. Twitter and Facebook were essentially blocked. Now, it's easy enough for Iranian internet users to get around those blocks with proxy servers and VPNs, virtual private networks, etc. So it's not like Iranians really don't have access to these networks at all. But in any case, you didn't need any of those sort of.
Everybody got on them today.
Absolutely. Twitter and Facebook returned to Iran. So you had people tweeting, such as this guy, Keva Pajuhan, tweeting, "My first legal tweet from Iran," but actually if you click on his account you see that was the last thing he tweeted about 22 hours ago, so he was quickly silenced. Now what's interesting here is the speculation about why this happened, right? You have this Washington-based public policy scholar saying, well, is this a fight between hardliners and moderates? Now why is there that speculation? Because the new president is somewhat more moderate, and Hassan Rouhani has said that he is in favour of freeing up those internet restrictions. But you have other much more hardline elements in the Iranian government, such as the head of the supervisory board on the internet, who says absolutely not. Recently he spoke to AP and he said it's not the right time to lift those restrictions. So some people were saying, if it was briefly lifted, is that a kind of a reflection of an inner struggle, an inner power struggle over how to approach internet censorship? Now, one of our France 24 journalists who works on the Observer's programme, Ershad Alajani, he spoke to journalists close to power in Tehran, and they said no, this was simply a glitch. Right now, they're journalists close to the power structures in Iran, so maybe that's what they would say.
So it was a mistake. I mean, has this ever happened before, or is this the first time this has happened?
I think there have been glitches of some kinds or other going back to last year. Now, it seems what happens is these firewalls are updated every so often, and in the aftermath of this glitch, it seems that Google Plus, another social network, has now been blocked for some people who our journalists have spoken to in Tehran. So we can't say whether it's generally blocked in Iran, but some people are having difficulty accessing Google Plus. So what can we conclude from that? That they were probably updating the firewall. Briefly, we were able to get access to Facebook and Twitter, and then it was even more restricted than before. So there you go. Now, just briefly worth mentioning how all this happened. If you go back to 2009, there was that seems not to be available anymore. Not very interesting. But in any case, it was after the Green what do they call it? The Green
Movement. Yeah.
Yes, and
the reformists, they started protesting in 2009, didn't they? And it was quickly put down.
That's right. And it seems that Twitter and Facebook were quickly accused of being behind rallying those protests. A lot of people afterwards said that was completely overblown, that in fact text messages and other sources of rallying people such as emails, etc., were far more used than Twitter and Facebook, which was more used by the Iranian diaspora through English under hashtag Iran election.
And it was still relatively early days for these sites there, wasn't it? So
yes. Absolutely. So perhaps it was exaggerated, but in any case, the government at the time said,
they're not taking any chances, a bit like in China.
Yes.
Okay, and you mentioned Hassan Rouhani, the new allegedly moderate president of Iran. There's a piece about him and the US President Barack Obama being pen pals.
That's right. Karl Remarque's blog on Middle East politics, culture and satire, how Barack and Hassan became pen pals. Because, of course, the whole thing we're hearing at the moment is that they're writing each other letters and that a correspondence has opened up and that this whole, no communicating. So it's quite a funny correspondence, worth checking out. Dear Hassan, it's very nice to correspond with you. I've never talked to anyone from Iran before. I live in a big house with a garden. Please tell me more about yourself. Sincerely, Barack Obama. To which Hassan replies, I noticed your middle name is Hussein. This is very special in my culture. Are you a Muslim? And Barack replies that he's not, in fact, a Muslim, but hard to convince people over here. Is it possible for us to become friends on Facebook? Which, of course, it isn't. So anyway, it's quite a funny interaction.
You've been amusing yourself with that one all afternoon.
Absolutely. Pen pals, Laura. Pen pals.
Okay. We're going to end with a different story. Of course, there's details coming in thick and fast about the shooting last night in Washington. Aaron Alexis, a 34-year-old, has been revealed as the gunman who shot dead 12 people at the US Navy Yard. It's just emerged that a background check by the company he worked for revealed he had nothing more than a traffic violation. So, of course, a lot of questions being asked about security and background checks for people given military clearance. And again, when all the coverage was going on last night, very confused again, a lot of mistakes were made by journalists.
That's
weren't
right.
they?
Unfortunately, the wrong suspect was named and on first of all on Reddit and then Twitter, social media websites, and then unfortunately NBC and CBS journalists picked up on that misinformation and named the guy in question. Now, interesting to point out that Reddit. They were also behind misidentifying a suspect during the Boston bombings.
Yes,
and they seem to have learned their lesson in some respects, because they very quickly shut down the thread or the conversation that misidentified the guy this time round. But it didn't stop mainstream media organisations from picking up on that misinformation. So just, I suppose, another warning to media outlets of the dangers
of using the social media sites. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, James, thank you very
Thanks, Laura.
much. That's it from Media Watch. Okay, we've got all the day's top business and financial news now with Marcus Carlson.